I had purchased a meal from a restaurant, and when I was eating it, it had some foreign object in it, and it broke my tooth very badly. And so I had to go in and have basically, have an emergency appointment with the dentist, basically to extract a tooth in the middle of on a weekend. Before I talked with Ian, um, I had all the work done, and I called the company and said, hey, I had this problem. If you just reimburse me for my out of pocket, I won't pursue it any further. We'll be fine. They said, great, just go in, get all the work done, send us the bill when everything's finished, and we'll reimburse you. uh, I got done paying for everything and sent them the bill, what was remaining from what my insurance didn't cover, and they said, we're not doing anything. We decided not to do anything. We don't want to pay anything, and we don't believe you. It was a smaller claim. It was in the thousands of dollars, not tens of thousands or anything like that. It was thousands. And I just basically kind of let it go because nobody really seemed to have any interest in actually doing anything about it. It was more than what I allocated, and I was having to pay interest and whatever else basically had set it up so that it was paid with a credit, and I was basically having to pay that bill, and it's just another expense that I wasn't expecting, and it was considerably more than what all my other dental work would have cost. My girlfriend basically introduced me through a group that she was with. And he says, hey, I'll take a look at it. Let me just send a letter and see what we can do. And unbelievably, we got their attention. Basically, I got a positive, he gave me a positive outlook on it, where before it was just, I'm just going to have to eat it, and all the money that I'd set aside for dental work was what that I had intended to utilize for everything was spent on that one tooth. He says it's been there for a while, and he heard my story, and he said, let's take a look at it. He says it doesn't hurt to try, and even though it was a small case, he said let me work on it, and he's worked on a few things for us now. It was and They all came to a very positive conclusion, and so it was something where he was willing to work to prove that he was really good at what he does. And it didn't matter the size. He basically said, hey, I'm going to do this, but that's kind of how he is. He just works really hard on stuff and proves that he's really good at what he does. And this is it's a large restaurant chain. He made them basically pay up when they basically told me no for 3 years. He was he was in touch with me, made sure that his staff would update me every time there was some sort of movement or progression on it. He gave me, as he was moving along through the case, he would talk with me and just say, hey, we're looking at this. This is where they're kind of at. I think that we can do a little better with this, that I think they're about ready to go. And it came to a conclusion that was very simple, because when it came right down to the point of me saying, yeah, we're good right now and we'll settle with them, it was one of those things where he knows how to play the game. And it was they don't want to pay, and he wanted them to pay. And that was and he got and really, when the end result was, they could have just done what they promised before, and it would cost them a lot less, because he's just good at what he does, and basically had them where they just had no choice, and they just had to settle up. Over dealing with Ian in some other aspects, like I said, we've given him some other cases. There was a car accident with my daughter, and he did a great job with that. But his staff, he's constantly improving and expanding his staff, and getting people that are really on top of stuff and keep you apprised of what is happening. When you call and you leave a message, you get a return call. If you send an email, you get a return email. Everything's very fluid. you're not sitting and wondering. It's good. It's good because he's very attentive and makes sure his staff is also. He got back what I was out of pocket, and like I said before, I would have just taken whatever I was out of pocket, but he got me that plus my time. My time that I'd spent sitting in a dentist chair, many times, and appointments, and just the huge hassle that I had to go through. And so he basically got me made whole again, if you want to say that. Um, and it came to a really good conclusion when I was basically thought there wasn't going to be there wasn't anything for me. Oh, it made me feel good, of course. When you kind of give up on something, you say, "Well, I guess that's just how it goes." It felt good having them basically say that they didn't believe me and said, I told them, I said, I have military insurance. It's good insurance. You're only responsible for a certain amount. And to have them turn around and tell me that they thought I was a liar, it doesn't make you feel very good, especially when you offer them, you can prove it. I had proof, and they just denied it outrightly, and they just thought I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. So it felt really good to be kind of vindicated in that matter, where I got a little bit of my respect back, and plus I got the bill paid, and now I was able to proceed and do the other dental work that I wanted to do that I kind of set aside years earlier. So it really came to a good conclusion for me, and he did a great job, and you know it, like I said, a lot of attorneys wouldn't even have picked it up, but he proved that he was good at what he does. So it's good.